And here's a quote that I want you guys to read. This presentation is about a research I did on domestic workers, not domestic violence, as a lot of teachers have said. I was doing a talk on domestic violence, but yeah. So this is a quote that I got from one of my interviews, and it was very shocking. And I think this is one of the reasons why I was so motivated to engage in this research. So today, it's about domestic workers research. Domestic workers are like the nannies, the caregivers, the babysitters that you have. Like, okay, can I actually have a show of hands of like who has hired a domestic workers before? Like a nanny or a babysitter or anything like that. That is less than I expected, but it's okay. So, yeah, and this is a brief overview of the things that I'll be covering today. I'll be giving a brief introductions about myself, about like my projects and also my role in our schools, and also about magic, because I am card magician. I like to do magic, and so that is also a part of my community research project. And then I'll move on to service learning, which is something very important for those of you guys who want to apply for US universities. I'll be also talking about my topic origins, which is why I chose the domestic workers topic rather than like other things, like doing documentaries on teachers. And I'll go through my research process, the things that I did, and then I'll be showcasing my documentaries, and we'll end with a Q&A sessions if you guys have any questions or is interested in participating in similar research. So, this is a bit about myself. I am currently an A2 student, and I intended in majoring in economics or like public policy subjects related to these. And I am the CEL. The CEL is a part of the student leadership bodies. I manage like the entire student leadership bodies. And as I mentioned, it's like the card magic. Oh yeah, and I also play for our school's basketball team because I'm interested in basketball. And here's a very brief overview of the project that I did. It's covered, I've made 2 documentaries, one about domestic workers in Shenzhen, the other one about domestic workers in Hong Kong. I've also written a report documenting the working conditions of like these group of labors. And I've also worked with some non-governmental organizations to empower domestic workers in these 2 regions. So before we get into like the boring stuff, I would like to show you a video of me performing magic. But like, don't judge me for that. I just want it to be more entertaining than a natural like lecture or things like that.
You can choose anyone you want. But can you show it to everyone here without me?
You might see me performing on the SGT depending on my time for my college applications. But yeah, so I'm not showing this video to show off, but like I'm just telling you that there's like just so many ways that you can do service learning. It's not just about volunteering or like teaching in the rural areas or picking up trash in your local communities. It can take a variety of forms, and performing magic is also one of them. And so I find magic very interesting because I feel like magic is a way that you can establish a very quick connect. Like in a brief encounter, you can establish the connections with people that you don't know, with strangers. So I found it very enchanting. And just so you know, like the person who is holding on to the 2 cards there, that's said the quote at the start of the interview, like the quote that I displayed. So, I will start by talking a bit about like service learning and also the importance of service learning and how you can get support for service learning at SCIE. One of my major advice is you have to start very early. I know all of you guys are G2s, right? G2s. Okay. So it's better if you just start early because not only for college applications, but also for your personal development. As you go through this process, you will discover a lot of issues that you didn't think of that you will encounter during the research process. For example, I'll just use my project as an example. Before I did like the interviews and stuff, I have no idea that what domestic workers' life is like. And after the interview, I realized that they actually face a lot of problems with insurance. So they have a lack of insurance policy. They don't know what insurance is. And so that is the point that I'm trying to work towards by raising their awareness about insurance policy. And these are not things that I know before I start the research. So it's better if you just start early and then you can slowly discover like the problems that you want to solve. And I think service learning is all about like finding things that you actually care about, things that makes you sad, that makes you angry, that makes you energetic, and that makes you excited. And once you've found a topic that interests you, you can combine it with your passion. For me, it's about magic, and it's also about video editing. And so you just have to combine the two to take actions. And the third point is I highly recommend you to find a pair, because I really believe that everyone in SCIE is very talented in something. For example, I have a friend who's a YouTuber and it gets like tons of views, thousands or a few millions, I don't know. And so he's super famous, and so there's always talents that you can discover among your peers. So just ask them to join you on this project. And I would like to mention one thing. The school is now officially opening its G2 US enrichment course, which will help you go through this process and find out like the topics that you want to do. Essentially helping you with your service learning, as the teacher school have told me. And so if you're really interested, please look out like for information regarding G2's enrichment on this. Yeah, and I'll briefly go through like why I chose this topic. So why did I choose migrant domestic workers, which is also a question that I proposed before I start the presentations. To be honest, because I was raised by a domestic worker, and she had a very profound influence on me. Both of my parents are working abroad, and so most of my childhood I grew up with the domestic workers who took care of me. And so I found that it's less about this contrast, less about monetary terms, but more about like the relationship that you develop throughout this process. And so I'm very interested in her life, and very simply that's why I chose this project, because I care about them and I care about this group of labor. And here are some of the preparations we did. This is my group, my crew, who went to Hong Kong with me to film this documentaries. That is Kevin, and the rest of them are A2s. And that's me learning magic when we are going on our way to find our NGO's partners. And that's us on the subway, and also me editing the documentaries. And I must say, like, documentary editing is definitely something that you think it's very easy, but that's the most time-consuming things that you can ever do. I promise you, I spent like more than 20 hours just editing documentaries that you will see later on. And this is some pictures of like the subjects that we interviewed. Like these 5 are all from Philippines, Thailand, and Indonesia. And then that one is from China, which you will later see in the documentaries that I made. So, without any further ado, we will get straight into the documentary screen. I'll be showing my documentaries, basically. So, stay tuned. And can I also have the light close, please, Allegra? Thank you. We'll just wait. Okay, great.
In Shenzhen, there are more than 1 million people engaged in the domestic industry, the vast majority of whom are migrant women. Their wage level is satisfactory, with some earning more than 10,000 every month. The so-called nannies live with more than 18 million residents in this first-tier city in China. However, their voices and stories are scarcely heard. Auntie Liu has worked as a domestic worker in Shenzhen for 4 years now. It's quite surprising that she's not just a domestic worker, but also a well-known vlogger on TikTok.
鼓励真的还有费时间的，而且Hello， 大家好，我是于姐，目前在深圳做钟点工。今天这个视频就跟大家分享一下我做钟点工，就是做饭的钟点，在客户家打扫卫生的这些大概的步骤吧，去做评。我在深圳做家庭钟点工有12年多了。做过全职保洁，也做过做饭的，但是住家里面做过，但是做钟点工。
Meet Auntie Yao from Hubei province, who came to Shenzhen in 2014. Currently, she works as a cleaner at a domestic worker training center, while also taking on some part-time cooking jobs.
就是你说他们这里的话，那个钱啊，我们搞完是，就是在这搞那个教室啊，他们那个长一般和那个眼光他是细致的。你所以下课老师会讲的，还是那一步继续练习下层桌子拿下。这个工作不是说天天有，就是说或是9点或30天，它不是规定的，你这不规定的自己搞的话，有点是还是工作呢接受不了的。
This is Auntie Lan, who is 58 years old and came from Zhanjiang, Guangdong. As early as 23 years ago, she came to Shenzhen to make a living and has been working as a live-in auntie ever since.
一开始我是在一个酒店打杂的，后来在店里有个同学介绍我，他本来是做这种行业的，然后我跟他聊，因为他说过跟我一样的，我就跟他聊，然后他就介绍给我来做这个工作。感觉那个同学说，他说薪水比做酒店的好，又包吃又包住啊，就感觉就比较好一点。接单我是星期1到星期5接做饭的，下午接个做饭的12个小时，4点半到8点。我如果想接中餐的话，我可以接个中餐，就一天6-7个小时这样子吧，太多了我觉得我不能做。然后我现在没接中餐，然后礼拜6、礼拜天我有保洁单，有保洁单我就做保洁，如果没保洁我就在家休息，做本人。
Auntie Liu is very dedicated to creating content for TikTok. She has already shared over 600 videos and has gained more than 3,000 followers.
Hello， 大家好，我是刘姐。今天就来做这个保洁单，是一道房子的深度保洁。它的重点就是厨房跟厕所。
反正那年是过完年以后，我就想着，既然人家做短视频能赚到这地方，我说我一坚持来做一下。坚持做，后来做着做着就想着刚记录生活吧，对，就一直这样。
开始的时候拍那个没有大陆之前的新人，后来没拍，这个是拍的是视频
那一天剪个视频，有时老是剪错，剪个视频3-4个小时，天哪，天天晚上搞得好晚的，所以有时候去做单，做完单以后都是回来好晚了，还坚持着。刚开始的热情真的很大，有时搞到1-2点钟睡觉，也坚持到现在。14年的正业吧，我想着好像还是5、6年级，家里起房子嘛，小孩读书嘛，也是我其实说自己没有经历过什么文化。我说我小孩读小学的时候，我们在家里吧，人家老师说，哎呀，你们小孩好聪明什么？我就说我们这个家庭就说，人家有这个说呀聪明，我自己都感觉很高兴哈。对自己还是要努力去赚一点钱，不管小孩。
Auntie Yao and her husband are both employed in Shenzhen. They reside together in a compact attic that costs 800 RMB per month in rent.
就是矮一点，1米70几，还不到1米8。我老公在后面过来的， 那可能因为身体不好动手术了，去年在家里休养1年。那我就是他受不了，他就说还行。他走完我不能在那里扫一下那个小区的卫生，也没什么技术啊，也没什么文化，怎么分这个呀？这个也这年龄了，我73年的，我老公跟我同1年。
Auntie Lan is employed as a live-in domestic worker and resides in a luxurious full-level villa with her employer. Her work is often tedious and repetitive.
哎，你好，这里，谁住这边来？
因为家里小大嘛，但我其实很满意，他做的这个就说还是很细心、很干净，都不是很累，都挺轻松的，又把自己包住，我家老板就好，老板的小孩又好。
Is being a domestic worker really an easy job? The answer is probably no. Making a livelihood is a challenging task. Similarly, being a skilled and properly trained domestic worker is no easy feat.
可以。
什么都学，一些作为是很好的。他们国里上有个教，没在出的街上经常的，还有去游的，搞那个厨房也没去游，在那里那个厨房里面弄的，那里那么干净，那里面就得擦去。把这个开的好像换一个，换一个。其实深圳没有说话的也挺多，人真的很多。很挤，从早到晚，早餐、中餐、晚餐，有的他就是做了中餐，下午中间1、2个小时又去兼职做这样，有的也配合这个家庭亲戚都会，家庭亲戚一般是男的干的，他不去学，那个阿姨很好学。
对，要求高，要文化制度啊，这个不是那么好做的。跟你说实话啊，最近我女儿是90几年了，那都是90后的把小孩那种，但一个小孩也不是那么容易的，刚出世的小孩，人家就是说走2万3万的话，那个钱不是白拿的，真的好辛苦的啊。好，这就我说了，加个微信啊。好，加的那里就是。人家哪里那么好？你说像我去年嘛，他们不是还有一个小孩我有时我搞了12点，才回来，还晚上没起，你桌子碗你收起，你那个又看着那个小孩边看边搞，最起码要注意小孩安全嘛。你那个事不做都无所谓的，特别是小孩，你不到12点你还不能睡觉了，早上就6点钟就要起来了。你要跟他搞卫生搞就能做早餐啊，什么有时他爸来，有时妈来呀，在人家家里肯定是没那么自由的。
现在不休的话，可以休到7000多一点。
为什么不休息？
不感觉休息又没地方去，我去的那地方自己一个人逛没意思，那我很少出去。出去要花钱，你出去逛街，你起码要花几百块钱，不如继续工作还有钱赚。我老公有5个兄弟嘛，他们在老家的做工没工资没那么高啊，看到我每个月都有那个钱赚，他们做1年都赚了我半年那么多钱了，他们都会说一点钱话吧。放假回去了，我老公的弟媳吧，他就跟我说了，他说人家说你在外面嫁人了，还跟你说了，说我嫁人都嫁人了，没事。 我说你说不好也是一句吧，你说我什么坏话也是一句，我无所谓，我在这里说了。
以前就有特别要我宣传的住家帮助我们。
那你是为什么就是不喜欢住家？
求自由，是这么。我就想着，一个就是做这个自媒体，然后如果发展可以的话，就可以带带货就这样子。然后自己本来就是做这两个我有这份收入，只是相比之下我没比他们工作低很多，我也何必去做呢，是吧？如果说我的工作低了很多，我选择他们愿意去那么高的工作，我可以去做。
As a profession that toils in private homes, the work experience of domestic workers is deeply intertwined with the employers they serve.
我还有一个邻居家的阿姨跟我一起出来吧，年纪也我也弄大了，她也出来10几年了，她就你们知道做了好多份工了，7、8个家里都有了，有时候人家不满意你，有时候你不满意人家了，但是我还是一直在这里做。
那你也是做这个行业吗？他这边那个客户就好一点。有一次他是查了杯子嘛，我们在那个东西就是摔破了他就去讲人家听，他是手6个吧，摔破了1个，他人家说呀5个不会也好，那个手指按就是讲这个手指嘛，不是也还好，他没事，应该有这样是你原谅你吧。
我不知道大概这个是6个还是属于
到时候我晚上把它泡一下嘛，
对，拿刷子刷一下咯。你经常给客户打电话，你可以从他的语气中听出来这种是的。反正不好说话的占少数，一般的可以，一般都是挺尊重，去的时候会来一些。
The domestic worker sector has become an integral and inseparable part of Shenzhen. Just like all other workers in Shenzhen, domestic workers are making significant contributions to the city's development through their labor.
有的人就说：“哎呀，去人家家里吃过人家。”其实这个不算是吃过人家，只是你做好你更累的一件事情。就像你做饭，你把饭做好了，那肯定人家就给工资给你。做家政这点多，做家政也好，都是服务行业。你做其他的，你也是为人服务的。我就想到这一点，不管你做什么行业，你都是为人服务的。
我也想过放学，自己有这种心态。你说人家对我好好的，还给他请你做好一点，仔细一点。我家里的海比这里大了，比这里干净。我家里的那个大海是好大的那个海湾，不像这里那么平的。
但现在算了，如果小孩他们特别需要我的时候，我再看一下。他就是问我，如果你做的开心，你继续做，做到老板不让你做都可以；如果你不开心的话，你马上回来都可以。
现在我就说去那个一线城市里面，不管去哪里，我都可以赚钱下来。我觉得这个就是多赚点钱以后，自己我有什么爱好或者有什么想法，